Again, thank you guys all for being here and for taking your time on Friday morning to listen to us ramble. If you've heard me speak before, you know that sometimes I can get extremely passionate and end up on about 15 different tangents. And so I actually made an outline today to cover what you're here to hear me talk about, which is branding. And so I'm Dr. Ryan Bones of Beyond Bones Chiropractic here in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, which we are now a year and a half in business. We opened April 4th last year. We had a big grand opening on March 31st, which I think a lot of you guys are at. And so this community has been incredibly supportive to us. A lot of people don't know I actually have two other companies as well. The first one, Kairo Sushi, it's not a sushi restaurant, don't worry, is more national, and it's a media company for chiropractors, and we provide resources for chiropractic students, young DCs, and DCs who kind of want to re-energize their practice with webinars and trainings and seminars, things like that online. And then Ascension Consulting is actually one that is kind of a new one that Cassidy, my wife, and I are doing together that we really have. It's kind of been on the back burner, so you actually are some of the first people to hear about it because we really haven't pushed it or promoted it, but we'll be doing social media and small business launch consulting here locally when I have any time to do that. And so we've had a lot of people asking about it, and so it's in the works, and so we haven't really quite launched it yet, but now you get to see it. I put the logos up there because obviously I'm talking about branding, and so I wanted to be able to reference them. But I am extremely passionate about branding, and when people typically think branding, they think a logo. But in reality, it's so much more than that. And so, sorry, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not checking Facebook, I just have my notes on here because it's 2018. So, 2018. So, simply put, branding it's your promise to your customer. It's who you are. It tells them what they can expect from you, and it really differentiates you from your other competitors in the area. And it's derived of who you are, what you want to be, how you want to identify yourself to your community, how you want to connect with them, and kind of what you want to convey. And so people immediately think logo, right? Brand. It's a brand. A brand is so much more than a logo, and I cannot stress that enough. Your brand is everything you are. It's everything, every point of contact that a customer or a client has with you. It's your website. It's how you answer the phones. It's the clothes you wear. I mean, even down to a haircut. It's the reason I haven't changed my haircut since I moved here or lost the beard, because I don't think anybody recognized me. So, and it goes throughout the entire experience your community has with you. And it starts maybe with a logo, and so each one of these is different in a lot of ways, and I helped develop all of these, but it goes way beyond that. And so I kind of wanted to hit on a couple points of how to create that. And so defining your brand can be difficult, extremely difficult. It's kind of a journey of self-discovery, if you will, because you really have to ask yourself a lot of questions. And it can be uncomfortable. But some of the questions that you're going to want to ask yourself primarily is, what is your company's mission? And so if you're new in business, if you already have a logo, if you already have this stuff, that's okay. I mean, things get rebranded constantly, right? It's always in kind of flux, and adaptability and innovation. And being flexible and adaptive is crucial in business marketplace in the first place. And so you may already have something established, but you may start asking yourself these things and then look back and say, does our current brand reflect that? And if not, then you want to change it. You want to update it. And so what is our company's mission? What are the benefits and features that our products offer? And who is our ideal client? I'm going to stop here because, well, let me do two more. What do your customers and prospects already think of your company? And what qualities do you want them to associate with your company? I really want to get back to ideal client though, because when it comes to building your brand, making the decisions of what color schemes do I use, what music do I play in my business, how do I communicate to the community what I do, you're really asking, what does my ideal client like? What attracts them? And a lot of people think, oh, my business is a bank, for example. Who's my ideal client? Well, anybody with money, right? For chiropractors, we constantly get, who is my ideal patient, anybody with a spine. If you try to appeal to everybody, you're going to appeal to nobody, and you're going to get lost in what we call the deadly middle ground. The deadly zone in the middle where you're not a specialty, you're not the cheapest, you're not anything, you're just vanilla. And when it comes to branding, the last thing you want to be is vanilla. You want people to associate those certain qualities with you. But ask yourself, who do you want to serve? When you look at your company's mission, who is it really for? And narrow it down far more specifically than you've ever probably thought. For example, and I'll just use our office because it's, I think, the easiest example to use. If you look at, Beyond Bones Chiropractic, if you look at kind of how I dress, if you've ever been to our office and know the music that we play, and we have Red Bull TV on over the fireplace in the family room, we call it. It's obviously not for, let's say, specifically kids. It's not really normally for the retired population. It's really more for young professionals. It's for young families. It's for the Northwest. It's all leather and wood and metal, and we play anything from heavy metal to 90s pop. And there's a dog, and we have a puppy. And so it's really about, honestly, the young professional, kind of 25 to 35, who maybe has a young family that's starting up. Specifically, when I identify my ideal client, I do all the way down to a gender, an age, a story, a background, because you can expand from there. So like a 30-year-old male, maybe has a starting family, likes to snowboard and wakeboard and dirt bike and be out in the community and be active, entrepreneurial. That way I can connect really, really well with that person. I'm a little bit different because I kind of am the business in a way. If you're expanding it to real estate or banking or finance, you're going to be maybe thinking about more your services. Who is looking for that service? Who do you want to work with? And so start thinking about who does your company's mission and values connect very, very well with? Who is going to be seeking you out and feel extremely comfortable in your place of business? That's your ideal client. Once you identify your ideal client, so ask yourself that and start thinking about that. What do they like to do? What music do they like? What do they wear? Where do they go? What events do they participate in? You're going to be there. You're going to be connecting on those things. It's going to change who you associate with, what you sponsor, what events you're at, and what you're wearing there. Again, it goes back to everything because you're looking to create that deep, deep connection with a smaller population of people that can be your core. And then from there, now you can, yes, they have a mom, they have a grandma, they have a daughter, they have a neighbor. And when you build that deep core connection through your branding with your ideal client, now they're going to start referring, they're going to start recommending, they're going to start singing your praises because you have such a deep connection with them. You're also going to take care of everybody else. It's not exclusive, it's just extremely focused. And so when you start looking at how do I want to build my logo, what is my ideal client like? For example, for a more outdoorsy, maybe modern young professional, when it came to Beyond Bones Chiropractic, it doesn't have flowers and a tree with hands and butterflies and pinks, and it's very black and white. It's modern font. It's got the mountains kind of connecting to the community, and it's plain and simple, which is actually a reflection of what we do in the office, which is one thing: take care of spines, take care of nervous systems. I don't do nutrition. I don't do supplements. I don't sell pillows. I don't have massage. I don't have a whole lot. We're an expert in one thing: the spines. That's what we do, and it's a reflection of us. And so this took a long time to kind of develop. And local graphic designer Ali Koski with AHA Creative, she's fantastic. I had an idea, and she really helped me work through that. So again, branding's a lot more than a logo, but a logo is a great place to start. And so when you're developing a logo, if you're new and creating a new one, or if you're rebranding, get with somebody who knows colors, who knows design, a graphic designer. They're experts for that. Far too many times I see people try to make their own logos and they're horrible. And they're not clean, they're all pixelated. They found it on a picture on Google, and then 3 months later they get a cease and desist for trademark infringement. Somebody who knows what they're doing with that stuff can create one of a kind and then trademark it, protect your brand. That's another one, protect your brand once you create it. And they'll help you design that. So once you have that identified, now you're going to spread it everywhere. And so that's when it comes into the materials that you put out. It's going to be on your shirts. It's going to be on the flyers. So I passed out a bunch of little what we call rack cards, and they're in the centers of your table. And if you look at those cards, I put them out there as an example because it continues that brand identity throughout the entire card. For example, it's pretty much black and white on one side. That's really more the branded side. The other side is just kind of about me and my background. But the branded, anything that has to do with the office is that same color scheme. It's got the logo on there. It's the same font. It connects people to who we are. You need brand consistency across the line. When people go to your website, it should look the same. When people come into the office, they should recognize this is where I'm supposed to be. I see this. I see these colors. I see that. I know for a fact that this is Beyond Most Chiropractic, right? This is Mountain West Bank, because I feel so connected because of everything that I've seen in the community, the commercials, the website, and so brand consistency is important. Think Apple, right? Pretty much every Apple store, you know you're in an Apple store, right? If you go to apple.com, you know you're at apple.com. You know their products. They look the same. They're extremely identifiable. That's an example of great branding. Apple's done, such a good job of it that when you often have to think of Apple, you know exactly what you're getting. That's what branding is about. It's connecting with people and having this level of certainty, and they know exactly what they're getting and who they're getting it from. So I'm going to make sure I get back to on task here. So do your research, learn the needs, habits, and desires of your ideal client. Make sure you know that. And don't rely on what you think they think, know what they think. And this is where market research comes in, so we have great resources for that. But do polling. If you've kind of identified who you really want to work with and connect with, go find those people and ask them. What do you look for in a business? What do you look for in a website? If you go to find my website on your phone, how do you want that to work? How do you want the mobile version of my website to work? What buttons do you need? Oh, you want to be able to call me directly when you push on it? Okay, great. Or what events do you like to attend in the community? Okay, you like to be at that? Sweet. Well, we're gonna host one of those then at my practice. We're gonna create this magnet for the people that I want to serve into my practice by creating events. And so that's know what they're doing. So once you define your brand, how do you get the word out? Obviously, get a great logo, place it everywhere. Write down your brand messaging. What are your key messages that you want to communicate, and make sure that every single employee knows that. Make sure that when they post about it, they're using the right verbiage, they're answering the phones the right way. If they go out in the community, they're a reflection of your brand. They are your brand. Know that they know how to communicate who you are and what you do, and that comes down to training, a lot of training. Integrate your brand. It extends to every aspect of your business. Create a voice for your company that reflects your brand. A lot of people are moving towards Facebook ads, right? Social media is one of the biggest white spaces there is for advertising. And this could be a whole other talk if I wanted to do it, but I'll try to keep it short. A lot of people are putting out video content, or they're creating ads. Make sure that voice is identifiable, recognizable, it's branded before and after the video, so that when people see it, they know exactly who it is, and they know what they're going to get. Again, comes across the board there. And if you're posting specifically from a business website, if you're in charge of your social media, if you post a picture, brand it, watermark it. There is some really, really great apps for it. Font Candy is one of my favorite apps. I have the Font Candy Pro app. Font Candy + is how you can search it. But what it allows you to do is make really easy content for Facebook, for your social medias, where you can put the words over a background picture and then throw your brand on there and actually burn it in. That stuff's important because, again, branding is everywhere and needs to be reflective of everywhere. And then develop a tagline. And so that's on those rack cards again. It says, specific, scientific, state-of-the-art. That's like my tagline, the future of chiropractic. That's who we are, that's what we do. When it's anywhere, that's our tagline. Specific, scientific, state-of-the-art. And then design templates and create brand strategies for your marketing materials. Use the same color scheme, logo placement, everything like that. You don't need to be fancy, just consistent. Consistency is so key here. And then be true to your brand. Be authentic. And this is kind of my final little hit home point here, is it needs to be an accurate representation of your company. I'll say your company. I would say you. Obviously, it's going to be bigger than that for a lot of you. But it needs to be honest. And the people that are a part of your team, that are part of your company, need to know that, need to absorb that, need to love that, and need to walk the walk if they're going to talk the talk. If you don't have authentic and congruent employees, team members, managers, it stinks and it comes out and people can sense that and you become fake. You become, instead of a brand or being your brand, it just becomes a logo and it doesn't mean anything. A brand is who you are. You are your brand. When you go out, you need to reflect that and represent that and make sure that that's congruent across all levels in and out of your business. It's so important because as hard as you can work to build a brand and to build this recognition in the community where they hear bones, they think chiropractic, or they hear banking and they think Mountain West, whatever, it's really easy to ruin it too, where they start hearing that and they hear the scandal or whatever it was. A logo can come to mean disgust. I mean, if you think about so many logos where you've seen it plastered on a newspaper associated with something very, very negative, well, all that effort that you did to build a brand and create a feeling associated with that brand is gone, and now it's associated with last week's news. And so just be very careful about that. Be diligent about protecting your brand. And so protecting your brand is important in every way, shape, and form, whether that be copyrights, whether it be the behaviors of your team and your employee, the way you treat people, the way you take care of customers and clients, all the way to making sure that the products that you put out are reflective of the quality that you built in your brand. If you got a great brand with crap products, it's not going to last very long. It's not going to be very effective. And so protect who you work with. That's where your ideal client comes in. The whole idea behind identifying an ideal client that you connect well with is because you're going to have fantastic business relationships with that person. When you're trying to serve somebody who's far, far, far outside of your wheelhouse and your spectrum, it's when you get into trouble. You overreach. You're not going to connect well. They're not there for the right reasons. They're going to be upset. They're going to go out and they're going to tell people that it wasn't what they thought it was. It was crap. And that's on you. That goes back to your brand. So, be specific about who you choose to take as clients. Honestly, be selective. You don't have to work with everybody. In fact, I'll argue you shouldn't work with everybody because not everybody is right for your business and your business is not right for everybody, and that's okay. The more people you have fantastically raving about you, the more people you will attract who are that type of person who will fantastically rave about you, and it makes work a whole hell of a lot more fun too. And so protect your brand identity, develop your brand, be your brand, love your brand, and the community will love you back. Thank you.